Hello everyone. A few days ago I came across an interesting note online about Jacob Rothschild. Those of you who may not know, he is part of the Rothschild dynasty, the banking families that have thrived in Europe over the last couple of hundred years and everywhere else in the world. The headline reads, "Trillionaire Rothschild warns his own central banking system is failing and buys gold." Now, most mainstream media outlets are not going to say that the Rothschilds owned the Federal Reserve or any other central bank in the world. Fact is, there are only a handful of central banks in this world that are not owned by the Rothschild families. Three of them of note are North Korea, Cuba, and Iran. And knowing this may help you see how certain events may play out as history unfolds before us in the coming years, particularly with World War III waiting at our doorstep. So what Jacob Rothschild has done is he's went and bought a whole bunch of gold. It's in several media outlets that he has ditched the dollar in favor of gold. Now, if you want to follow what's happening in the world, look at what the big players are doing. George Soros ditched a bunch of bank stock a while back and bought gold. Jacob Rothschild has ditched dollars in favor of gold. They know something is coming in regards to the paper Federal Reserve note dollar. As with all paper money, the Federal Reserve note paper dollars will fail. It is a debt-laden system. The paper notes are nothing but debt instruments, but they're at the same time worth nothing. And I know people have said to me, well, if they're worth nothing, why don't you give me all of yours? And I usually tell them, when I can no longer exchange them for food, they're all yours. Now, we have other indications going on in the media that there are problems waiting at our doorstep financially. Even Yahoo has gotten in on it in their finance section with one man of note. I'm afraid I've forgotten his name right now, but probably a Google search would find it. Is that if you look him up, you will see that he says the collapse will be immediate and sudden and big. That's a hefty thing to be saying in the mainstream media these days. Now, we know that other banks in the world are having trouble. Deutsche Bank is in serious trouble. There is nothing but bad news about them everywhere you turn. Bremer Landesbank, also in Germany, as is Deutsche Bank, is in bad trouble. Monte dei Paschi, if I'm saying that right, is a bank in Italy, and they're in trouble. We know nations are in bad financial straits. Puerto Rico has already defaulted once. And here at home, even our own banks aren't being spoken nicely of. In the Wall Street Daily, it was written, this excerpt, "In the coming days you'll be hearing a lot of negative news concerning banks in the United States. You'll hear that the FDIC doesn't have enough money to insure your deposits." We've known that for a long time. You'll hear that one of the major banks will soon fail. You'll hear that Citigroup is behaving very strangely. All this and more will soon come to light, I assure you, this author writes. So, it's plain that we're not immune to what's going on financially in the world. It's going to affect the United States. Are you imitating George Soros and Jacob Rothschild? Are you buying gold? Are you buying silver? Are you getting metals to hedge yourself and hold your place in line for when inflation hits? Are you protecting yourself? This is one way you can prepare yourself for what's coming, is get your financial house in order. Get your debts paid off as soon as you can, if at all possible, and invest in some precious metals to hold your place in the financial line of the coming collapse. That's all I have. You have a good night.